Hey, welcome into the second of our decision workshops where we're going to walk through a game of Marvel Champions and kind of take it a little slower to describe the decisions that we're making here. So let's set up, we're playing Doctor Strange against Thanos, and the Infinity Stones are already switched or flipped around here, but when we begin, we set everything up. We're playing with the Infinity Gauntlet deck, so we're going to take our stones and shuffle these up. And then when we flip up here, we will put the top card of the Infinity Stone deck into play. So we are starting out with the Mind Stone, so we know when he activates, we're going to be confused. And then we already brought out Sanctuary, which is the next step here, and that comes in with 4. And this has a victory 1, so when we defeat that, it goes into the victory display. And so let's shuffle up the encounter deck here, and then we will shuffle up our hero things and take a look at Doctor Strange. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle our deck. We're using a 50 card deck here, and Doctor Strange draws quite a lot of cards, so this deck kind of worked out perfectly for me. I really enjoy it, so I think I will build and post this one on Marvel CDB. And then now Doctor Strange plays with his 5-card invocation deck, so we're going to give these a shuffle and then see what we start with. So this stays up with face up in play the whole time. So we have our Vapors of Valtor that we know we're going to be starting with, and we can draw our 6-card hand size. So we will draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and so I kind of reacted in a way because the first card we drew was Wong, which is awesome because that is exactly what this deck is built around, being able to filter through the invocation deck with Wong's hero actions, or it's not even a hero action, it's just an action that we get to discard the top card of the invocation deck. So let's look at our hand and think about what we would want. So we have Wong, which is awesome. Beast is an amazing ally. But I know we want to get Wong onto the table, but we do want someone to maybe block as well for our first turn, but we'll see. We could just take a hit as well, so we'll see what happens. Instead of Beast, though, I think I'm going to hang on to Kalu, because Beast is great because he goes and grabs a double resource, but Kalu can still go grab an extra card if we need him, so I don't want to hang on to 3 allies in the first turn. Magic Blast, we can't even damage him with Sanctuary, so that can go away. Build Support is nice in that it can go grab a resource generator for us, but honestly, if we're trying to play Wong and maybe Kalu, it might be a little expensive to do so. Now, the one nice thing would be Mystical Studies is interesting because that would let us go get our cape, which is going to be probably our most important card in a typical Doctor Strange deck. Wong is great in this deck, but I think I will hang on to the Mystical Studies because if we don't draw the cape, then we can at least go get it. And at the end of the day, maybe we play the cape and Kalu and hang on to Wong for next turn. Build Support's nice, but I'm not going to worry about it for now. In hindsight, having the resource generator might be great, but we'll see how we do. Instead, I'm going to draw 3 more cards, and we're going to get a Spiritual Meditation, Black Panther, and Protective Ward. And that's what we're going to start with here. So let's look here. We know there's 2 things we want to do, 3 things, honestly, we want to do in Alter Ego. The first being that, the 3 things being that we want to get rid of Vapors of Valtor because there's no status cards in play that we need to worry about. We want to play Spiritual Meditation as well because we can play that in Alter Ego with our Mystic ability, and then Mystical Studies. So let's start with Vapors of Valtor and getting rid of that because Winds of Watum may be hiding behind there, but it's not. We have Images, which that's fun and all. The next thing we'll do is let's see our Spiritual Meditation. Maybe we'll draw into our cape, who knows. But no, we get a Power of Leadership and Astral Projection, and then we discard a card. We're definitely going to discard Astral Projection because we're not going to be using that. So now we have some choices to make. If I put down a Mystical Studies, then we know we'd be able to get our cape, and we can play a Kalu, and hopefully he can grab an event, and then that event in Protective Ward could go get that cape, or could play for the cape, pay for the cape, and I kind of like that idea. So I think we're going to rock and roll with that, and at the end of the day, maybe we end up having to play images if we can't do things. So I'm going to use Black Panther to play Mystical Studies, and that's going to allow us to straight up go get our cape, which is such a powerful card. And we might as well, we don't really plan on flipping back down to Alter Ego form once we have, once we're in hero form this turn, which is a little different than how I typically play, but he's just so strong in his hero form that we don't really need the Alter Ego, especially when we have Wong filtering through the deck, Invocation deck. So we get to do that. Now that's everything we want to do in Alter Ego. We can flip up. And so now looking at Doctor Strange, we can think about what we want to do. We might as well get Kalu down onto the table, paying the power of leadership, and that allows us to search the top 5 cards of our deck, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and cross our fingers that we get an event, which we do. We get 2 events. I know I want to throw one of these events away, and Protective Ward is a great card, so I kind of want to keep this shuffled into the deck. So I will take the side-by-side so I can throw that away instead of the Protective Ward, and we're going to give these a shuffle. Here we go, and so give those a shuffle. Now we can look at our hand here. Side-by-side and Protective Ward. So our choices here are, we definitely want to keep Cloak of Levitation, and we definitely want to keep Wong. So we can consider playing the Cloak of Levitation. But if we wanted to hang on to our Protective Ward, instead we would play a side-by-side to do images of Econ, but then we're stuck with all this, and we still haven't gotten the Cloak down. So I think, I'll just let his Treachery card come in if he gets one, and forego the Protective Ward, paying these 2, getting our Cloak into play. We're going to ready Kalu, ready our Cloak, and then we're going to hang on to Wong. And so with what we have here, I can just go ahead and thwart for 2, ready, and then thwart for 2, and that gets rid of Sanctuary. And so Sanctuary is gone. When defeated, when defeated is that each player could spend physical resources to deal damage to Thanos. We're not too worried about that. So Sanctuary is in the victory display. Now he can take damage, and so we might as well just ping off 1 damage with Kalu. And so we're going to do that, bringing Thanos down to 16 to 15. And I think that's all we can do. So I feel good about that turn. We have our Cloak, we have Wong in hand, we have a blocker down here in Kalu, and so it's things are working out as we would want them to. So we're going to hang on to Wong, hope we draw a double resource, and see how we go. So we're going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Man, I wish I could always just speak things into existence, because that was pretty great, just drawing right into that double resource. So we'll ready everything up and send it over to Thanos. So Thanos is going to put 1 on the main scheme here, and then he's going to go ahead and attack us. So Kalu is going to be blocking this, and so he's attacking for 3, and he gets his boost card of 2, so he's attacking for 5. Kalu eats all of that, does not make it, but served his purpose. So now, once he activates, we're going to activate the Infinity Stone. So this is going to go ahead and confuse us, which honestly is fine, because things like images is not a thwart, so it gets around confuse, which is pretty insane. But now that has gone off, it's going to go into the victory display, it's going to go into the Infinity Stone discard pile right here, and we're going to get our encounter card. So first turn, we get a Black Order. So the Black Order, while a Black Order minion is in play, threat cannot be removed from the side scheme. So this only has 2 threat on it, and we're not too worried about that. So That is great. I mean, things are working out pretty well for us here. So we will look at what we have. The first thing we're going to want to do is definitely play Wong with 3 resources, and then we're kind of stuck with 2 allies in our hand. But unfortunately, that's just sort of the way it's going to go here. And what Wong can do, so we're going to play him 1, 2, 3. We're definitely going to get Wong onto the table. And so while he is readied, we will exhaust him to get rid of, to discard images. I'm going to put the discarded ones face down. And so he's going to discard images, which will activate the next one. And my thought process here is maybe, perfect, I was going to say maybe it'll be Winds of Watum, which was going to allow us to play some allies here. So that works out perfectly. So what I will do is exhaust to play Winds of Watum. And then when we do that, we're going to draw our 3 cards. That gets exhausted, and this gets flipped up into 7 rings, which is very, very good. So let's see. We will draw our 3 cards and see how we do here. We have Maria, Squirrel Girl, and Hawkeye, and a Magic Blast. My first thought is let's do what gets us more cards, which is going to be playing Maria Hill, right? So I could instead play Hawkeye right here, Squirrel Girl, this Power of Leadership. We know we want to use it. What I'm thinking in my head right now going into this is that if I play Maria Hill, I draw a card, and then I can get Hawkeye down onto the table. And so that is what I'm hoping to do. And then already in the 7 rings, we wouldn't be able to pay for it, but maybe, yeah, we would use the 7 rings maybe next turn. So I'm going to use Power of Leadership to play Maria Hill. When she comes in, we draw a card. Oh, wow. So it's Mastic of the Mystic Arts, which is a really good card. But, I mean, mostly with, if you're trying to push for damage, this is great with the one that does damage, or the Winds of Watum is really good with it. So I think with this, while we're looking at it, we could do a few things here. I could play, like, Squirrel Girl with Hawkeye and Magic Blast and hang on to a Master of Mystic Arts. And then we can play 7 rings of Ragador with that, which honestly doesn't sound terrible, but I mean, it sounds like a great plan and all. But if I could get Hawkeye down to the table and then somehow manage to just keep him on the table, being able to ping off ally or minions in the future, I think that would be more important. And then Maria can hit this next turn, and then our 7 rings can come out in the following turn. I think I would prefer doing that. So yeah, I'm going to play Magic Blast, Squirrel Girl, and the Master of Mystic Arts to go ahead and get Hawkeye down. So hopefully, like Wong, Hawkeye's just going to be a staple and sit here pinging off damage from minions that come in while he has his arrows here. So he comes in with 4 counters on him. We'll get him ready. We'll get Maria Hill ready. And now we can think what we would want to actually do here, because I can ready with my cloak, and I think I might as well with Doctor Strange, I can just thwart and get rid of my confused, because we don't want that on us. I mean, actually I will take, we know we're going to get a tough next turn, so I was thinking, maybe we'll hang on to it, because I think no, Vapors of Altor already happened. Let's just get rid of the confused. The thought process behind there was, right, if I hang on to a status card, that can turn into a tough, but next turn I'm planning on getting toughs anyway, so let's not worry about that. I thwarted, got rid of my confused. Now the thing with that, if one of the reasons I also wanted to get Maria Hill down was her 2 thwart, because we can thwart and just get rid of the Black Order here. So we don't have to worry about that extra encounter card now. She takes the damage. Hawkeye, I don't think there's much that does area of effect damage in Thanos' deck here, so while we have him, we might as well just use him to ping off a damage. Down to 14. right? We could use him to thwart and keep this down, but with the 12 on the main scheme, I'm not too concerned with that. So we can just start chipping off some damage where we can. But I completely understand where a better choice could be to ping off the one threat, but we'll see how it works for us. I don't think it'll have that much effect. So we're going to ready everything up here and then see how we do. Maria will likely be taking a hit here, and we will draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more cards. Awesome. So there's that protective ward that we kept in the deck. Glad to see that. A lot of cool, good options here. So let's think. We will go over to Thanos' turn. One is going to go into the main scheme, and then Thanos is going to attack, in which Maria Hill will block. So he's going to attack Maria for 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's 4 damage, and then after he attacks, one of these are going to come into play. So we know the next one is going to be healing 3 damage from him. And so now we get our encounter card. Counter card is the Mad Titan. So we're going to put the top card of the Infinity Stone deck into play. And we're not too sad about that, depending on what it is. Yeah, so we'll be adding some threat, healing some damage from him. And we're okay with that. So it's going to come back to us. Yeah, especially that was a treachery card, and we could have blocked it with Protective Ward, but that was not something I really want to worry about using resources on. So now it's our turn, and we can think about what we would want to do. Oh, Maria's gone. She's long gone. She took that hit for us. Apologies there. So she will take that hit, and we can think about what we'd want to do next. Right, so I want to hang on and not quite play 7 Rings of Ragador yet, because looks like we're going to be getting an ally in, and I'd rather them use their action before getting a tough card, so they'll take a hit and then get a tough. So let's see what we want to do. We have a summoning spell. Command teams are awesome, so if we can manage to hang on one of those. We already have Kid Omega, so I'm not too worried about summoning spell, honestly. And then the Protective Ward can play 7 Rings, right? So some of our options here are using our summoning spell and going to get a hero, or sorry, an ally. Part of the reason why I don't want to do that is we already have an ally to play. The other is that in this deck, I still would love to draw into the Eye of Agamotto. And so I don't want to discard that using a summoning spell when we know we're just going to get an ally down anyway. And Command Team allows us to ready Wong, so at least hanging on to one of those would be nice. Yeah, so I like this. I'm going to spend these 2 to play Kid Omega. He has some things where you can deal 1 damage to each enemy or remove 1 threat from each scheme. We're not going to worry about that. So what we can do here is go ahead and use Kid Omega, and what would we want to do? We can just go ahead and thwart off the 2, because we know Thanos is about to heal anyway, so we might as well let him heal the 2 back up to his main. So Kid Omega will take a damage for that. Hawkeye, again, I think Hawkeye's fine, just since Thanos would heal that damage anyway, we're just going to hang on to Hawkeye's ready there. And so now that everyone we want to activate is activated, we will, right, Wong could activate, but I just like keeping him for his the invocation deck churning, and so we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to exhaust 2 and spend a Protective Ward, which again is a great card, and I could hang on to that instead of Command Team, but I'd rather get Command Team, a piece we want to build with, onto the table. So we're going to actually play this 7 Rings, and we're going to flip to our last card, which is going to be the Crimson Bands, and we'll go ahead and what can we do? We can go ahead and do the action. So we give up to 3 characters a tough card. I'll give myself a tough. See, Wong could have, I'll give it to Kid Omega as well, and then Hawkeye. Wong makes sense. We do want to keep him alive, but I don't really want to use him to exhaust to defend because I want him on the invocation deck here. So we'll hand out our toughs that way with Hawkeye, Kid Omega, and Wong. And then let's see. The Crimson Bands of Sidorak is interesting to hang on to as far as like next turn, because I'm going to be able to ready, and I can't play it this turn. If I were to discard this, then I shuffle again, and there is a chance that Winds of Watum comes back, and that allows me to use my Cloak of Levitation to ready. I get to do that either way, like I can do that now. But that would allow me to draw some cards to get Command Team down. So I think I am going to do that. We're going to filter through Crimson Bands. We'll have our chance to do some damage in this game. And so we're going to shuffle all these up and see what we end up getting. We're going to flip up. And all right, there you go. The Crimson Bands is back. And so that leaves us with some limited options. All we can really do here is swing to ping off 1 damage from Thanos, which he's going to heal anyways. So whatever, we'll do it, but 13. So Thanos is going to heal all that damage, but we didn't have any threat to remove. So yeah, that works out. We will ready everyone up and see how we do here. So right, with this, we're going to go over to Thanos. Before that, we're going to actually draw our hand. So we're keeping a Command Team and drawing Superpower Training, Spiritual Meditation, Coin Carrier, and a Suit Up. Cool. So let's see what we want to do with all this. Nothing too crazy. We know, what I was thinking in my head is that we know we don't have a ally that we're likely going to be playing next turn. So instead of him attacking me straight up and pinging off my tough, I might just use Kid Omega to block that and take the tough or ping off the damage from him, because right now we're limited to 3 allies, so we're at our max. And right, I could, yeah, either way, there's I think my mind's gone into too deep of detail there. So we're going to go over to Thanos. He's going to add 1 to the main. Now he's going to attack. We will just allow... Oh, actually, you know what? We're going to allow Hawkeye to take this, because Kid Omega, at least next turn, if we really want, we can attack for 2 and lose his stuff, but we'll see. So he's going to attack Hawkeye. He's attacking for 3. There is a boost here. Give Thanos a tough card, so he's going to take a tough. With that, after he attacks, we're going to pop the Soul Stone to heal 3 damage and give him a face down boost card. So he's back up to his health of 16 and a tough card, and then he gets a face down boost. And then the Time Stone's going to pop, and we get discard the top 4 cards of your deck and place 1 threat on the main scheme for each different type of card discarded that way. Place this card in the Infinity. Yeah, so that gets discarded. And now we're going to discard the top 4 cards, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and take a look at these and see what we get. So, some disappointing things to see here. But actually, what's even more disappointing is that we have 4 different types of cards. We have an event, sport, upgrade, and resource. Wow, so the Time Stone did its job. We're adding 4 to the main scheme here. And losing some good cards. Genius and Master of Mystic Arts is tough to see go, but that is what it is. So let's think, what do we do there? We have to add 4 onto here, so this is going to go up to 5. So that's just his actions. We still need our encounter card, so we're going to get our encounter card. And all right, so the villain's going to attack us. That's okay. I think in this case, because he has that tough, and we can maybe get off of Crimson Bands, we'll see. I think I just might let him attack me, and that way Kid Omega can maybe ping off the tough. So let's see how it goes. Thanos is going to attack. I'm just going to take that hit So he's attacking for 2, 3. He gets Tuff's card, which he already has, and then 4. So he's attacking for 4, and that pings off my Tuff. And now that's it. So he attacked, did his thing. When he I need to start remembering going through with his actual attacks. He pinged off Hawkeye's Tuff as well there. So we are left with 1 Tuff on the table, and that's fine. We will look at our hand here, and we're always going to start with our spiritual meditation. So we'll draw 2 cards, which we draw into Astral Projection and Sky Cycle. Just a bunch of cards that we're not going to play. We know that we're not playing Suit Up, so whatever, we'll discard that. And let's see what we can do here. So not a ton of things that we can actually work on here. So let's think. I could just get a command team down. Queen Carrier would be nice. But instead I can use Queen Carrier for superpower training, and that goes and gets the Eye of Agamotto. So that's kind of what I'm thinking there. And then we're sort of left without being able to do the Crimson Bands anyway, which I'm honestly okay with. So I think that is what we're going to do. I'm going to use Astral Projection, Sky Cycle. We're going to use the command team. And so I want to play that because it allows us to do a lot of things, including readying Wong to filter through the invocation deck. So those are going to come in. I could have considered, I guess in my head I'm kind of wanting to play the Crimson Bands, but to pay for, we use Sky Cycle and Astral Projection, 2 cards I'm not really going to want to use anyway to play for command team, a card I know that I want down. In my head, the way I'm saying that is if I were to exhaust Wong, maybe we get the Winds of Watum. But in that case, I think I will do that because we're not going to be able to play the Crimson Bands. So the Crimson Bands will have its day eventually here. So I'm going to exhaust, nope, my bad. We're going to exhaust Wong to get rid of the Crimson Bands here. And then we'll see what we get. Okay, so it is a Winds of Watum. That's awesome. And so now in this case, we are going to exhaust, use Winds, and then see what we get here. Oh yeah, the 7 rings, that's really cool. So we get to use the Winds. That's going to draw 3 cards. Here we go. Okay, sweet. So we get even more cards that we want to use here. So that's fun. We get a Spiritual Meditation, which we're just going to play. Drawing 2. Getting the Eye of Agamotto and a side-by-side. I think with all the cards that we have here, we're going to go ahead and just play the side-by-side, or sorry, discard the side-by-side. And then now we have some options, right? So I know I want to get down a sidekick, and I know I want to get down the Eye of Agamotto, right? Superpower training is strictly for going to get either the Cloak or Eye of Agamotto, so I can definitely pay 1 with that. And then I can consider hang on to the Queen Carrier to continue getting resource generation, or Triskelion, which will allow us to get even more allies out. And so thinking ahead, I'm trying to decide would I want Queen Carrier or Triskelion. Honestly, like 10 times, most of the time it's going to be Queen Carrier, but I don't know if I want to be concerned about paying for that right now. And I can play the 7 rings anyway. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to use all these as resources. So I'm going to use the Queen Carrier and Superpower Training to get down the Eye of Agamotto. So that comes in. That is going to, so now we have this resource, and a few things we can do is either play Sidekick or Triskelion. We also can play 7 rings. So let's consider doing that. Let's make some quicker decisions here. So I'm going to use the Eye of Agamotto to play Sidekick on the Wong. And so now he's our sidekick, and we can do the cool things with the side-by-side events now. And then with the Triskelion, it would be cool to hang on to him, but it would also be nice to get 3 more toughs onto the table, because why not? So I'll use the Triskelion to play the 7 rings, because that's going to help us filter through there. And we get Vapors, which is fine for now. So Doctor Strange gets a tough, Wong gets a tough, and Hawkeye gets tough, which is great. So with all those down, let's think what we actually want to do here. We have Vapors. We know that the winds of a tomb are gone, so like readying Wong isn't really necessary for this turn, because we're just going to end up getting whatever card's left. I think it's images, but we wouldn't be able to pay for it anyway. So I think what I'm going to do with my ready is I'm going to ready and go ahead and thwart for 2. Or I think while we're at it, and while we can, I think I'm going to ping off the tough from Thanos, and hopefully he doesn't get another tough. We've seen a few of those already. But to help with the Infinity Stones scheme here, we're going to use Kid Omega's thwart here to go ahead and at least bring this down to 3. And then he does have a damage, so we'll hang on to him, and then maybe we'll see what we end up doing, honestly. So that is that. I could, because an option as well is that I could use Command Team to ready Kid Omega and just use him and get rid of him, but we might as well hang on to him for now. So I think I'm happy with that. We're going to ready everything here, get everyone up and moving, and then we're going to draw our 5 cards. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so in this hand, we see our Sorcerer Supreme, which we know we'll want to play, and we'll see what else we end up doing. So we're going to go over to Thanos here. 1's going on the main. He's going to attack, and I might as well have, again, Hawkeye block this attack. So he is attacking for 2, 3, 4, 5, and that just pings off Hawkeye's tough. And so now this comes into play, the Soul Stone, so we can go get a minion the next time he activates, which is nice to have Hawkeye around. So now we get our encounter card. Nothing too crazy this turn. And we get a Super Giant, which unfortunately Super Giant has Quick Strike, so they're going to go ahead and ping off our tough with that 2 attack. And then fortunately, after Super Giant attacks and damages a character, they would be stunned, but Super Giant did not damage us. And when they come into play, we get to use Hawkeye to ping on 2 damage to it. So that's awesome to see. So here we go. What can we do? We know we don't want to use Vapors here. So we'll use Wong to rally through the Vapors. That's going to bring out images, which we know we also don't really want to play. So this is a great example of a time we can use Command Team to go ahead and ready Wong, and then Wong can exhaust to see what we get next here. So we're going to shuffle these up, and really I'm looking either for the Crimson Bands or for like Winds of a Tomb. So let's see what we get. It is a Crimson Band, so we do like to see that. One thing that I don't want to compromise is I want to use 2 resources to get down Sorcerer Supreme while we have it, and just end up using that. I think, what can we do here? So that's on the table. So now we have the 6 hand size, which is great. And trying to think what else we can do, but while Super Giant doesn't have guard, I want to start, moving this game along. So let's use the Crimson Bands to go ahead and, so we'll spend an Eye of Agamotto and a Suit Up 2 resources to use our Crimson Bands, and that's going to do 7 damage just straight onto Thanos here, so he goes down to 9 health. And so with that, let's think what we would want to do. We want to get rid of Supergiant for sure. I'm trying to think if we have the ability to do so. To use Crimson Bands, we would have had to exhaust it ourselves. And we get a Vapors, which is unfortunate. But let's see. So we'll use our Cloak to ready. And what I am working through in my head here is I know I want to get rid of Supergiant, which is 3 damage, which I can use Kid Omega and our attack to get rid of. Yes, let's do that. So let's do 1, 2, 3 damage onto Supergiant and get rid of Supergiant. That works out well for us. We're fine with Kid Omega going away. And then what else would we want to do? So I know, looking ahead, one of these stones is going to make us get rid of an ally, upgrade, or support. So I think since I have the extra resources here, I'm just going to use magical enhancements to get down Sanctum Sanctorum, which is honestly not something we're going to end up using this game, but we can keep the ready token on it. When that card eventually comes that gets rid of one of the supports, we can get rid of this instead. So that's why that's on the table. So now we're out of things we can do. We will ready up and yeah, think about what we can do here. So going into this, I know I want to block with Wong and then command team to get past the Vapors here. So we'll see what we end up doing. So we're going to go over, this is going to go back up to 5 here. Thanos is attacking, and we will take this hit with Wong. So he's attacking for 2, 3, 4, and that just pings off Wong's Tough. And then now the Space Stone activates. We need to discard from the encounter deck until a minion is discarded. Oh, we get Proxima Midnight right away. So Proxima Midnight comes in. I'm trying to think. This is after, because this is, let's think. After attached villain activates, resolve the special ability. And so the special ability resolved, and we discarded. Put that minion into play. So let's think. I'm trying to decide if she attacks or not. The villain attacked, finished his, and then I think the next stage in line would be then the minions attacking. I think that makes Space Stone make a little bit of sense. So we're just going to take Proxima Midnight's attack and go down to 7 health here, which is no problem. And so when she comes in, 2 damage gets pinged off with Hawkeye. Always got to remember that. It's so easy to forget. So 2 damage is going on to Proxima. And then, oh no. I forgot to draw my hand at the beginning of this last turn. So we draw 1, 2, 3, and 4, which would have decked us out. So let's roll this back a little bit. I kind of goofed up there. Let's think about what would have actually happened here. So if we roll back, Thanos is attacking. Okay, I think I deck out, get this card. Then we shuffle. Sorry, so this is why, orders like really matter. You want to be, that's why I wish I could put a don't forget in my brain of drawing your hand size. So that was a really unfortunate one there. So we're going to do that, and then we would have ended up drawing 2 more cards because we have the Sorcerer Supreme. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 cards now. We get this as a encounter card, which fortunately in my just brain here, I kind of forget what this even was because I'm kind of just baffled that I did that right now. So we had Wong defend, he took that, Space Stone goes off. It's not too much is changing here, right? No, he would have attacked, right? So, oh gosh. Okay, so now he's attacking. His boost card was Proxima Midnight, which is discard an ally or upgrade you control. And so that is brutal. So we have to discard an ally or upgrade that we control. I don't even know what I would want to do. I kind of want to keep Hawkeye down because we know we have some sort of minion coming out. But yeah, I think it's going to be too important here to just not deal with that. So we're going to get rid of Hawkeye. Sorry, we're trailing back here. We're going to discard him with Proxima's boost. And so that happened, and then we would have activated the Space Stone, which would now discard until we get a minion, which was Ebony Maw. Ebony Maw comes in, and then he would activate against us with his 1 plus 2, 3, so we end up taking 3 damage anyway. Okay. And then now we do our encounter cards. Okay, cool. So I think we're back on track here. A lot of crazy things. I'm looking in my hand to see if I have Protective Ward. I do not. So now he does his stuff. So we get Blood Despair. Each minion engaged with the player activates against that player. Yeah, so let's just do that. Again, we'll just take the hit from Ebony Maw here. He's attacking for 1. Oof. It's attacking for 4, which is down to 3 health for Doctor Strange, which is pretty crazy. And then now we're going to go ahead and draw an advance. So the villain's going to scheme. So he is scheming for 2 plus his boost of discarding the top card of the Infinity Stone deck and applying that boost, which is 3. So he's thwarting for 5. Wow, which is going to bring this up to 10. So we're taking some hits here. So we're at 10 out of 12, and then now we're going to end up getting this encounter card because he activated. Sorry, this Reality Stone. Okay, so we're I think back on track here, and we're hurting quite a bit, honestly. So we're going to shuffle these up, think about what we want to do here. And then we're going to set this down. He gets a boost card when that gets shuffled. So there's a boost card for next turn. Okay. So that is what's happening there. Wow. Pretty crazy turn, honestly. But now we can think about, like, hey, how are we going to get through this? So what can we do? Ooh, we have our side-by-sides, which is really nice. An Honorary Avenger and Wong is nice because that eventually would let us play the Sky Cycle on him. But let's think what we want to do. I know I don't want the Vapors here, so we're going to exhaust and use a command team to ready and then exhaust Wong to get past the Vapors here, which ends up leading to Winds of Watum. That is huge for us. So with that, I think I am going to exhaust to use Winds and draw 3 cards. Brings out 7 rings, also huge. Cloak readies us, but we'll draw 3 cards. We get a Black Panther, Spiritual Meditation, and a Kalu. So we're racking up cards now, and we're going to decide what we want to do. We're going to play Spiritual Meditation, which draws 2 into a Suit Up and a Protective Ward. We're not using Suit Up. So let's think about this. I know we're going to want to do some thwarting this turn. Playing 7 rings would be nice, but so we have a ton of cards in our hand here. I am going to want to play a side-by-side this turn. Call for backup into Black Panther is very nice, because that goes and gets a side-by-side. And I'm just trying to think what all we can do here. White Tiger has 2 thwart, which could sway us into playing her. We could get an Honorary Avenger down. What's paying for side by side? Let's think. These play White Tiger. She draws a card. I'm liking what I'm seeing here. We get a bunch of toughs to go around eventually. Okay. I'm liking what I'm seeing, but I'm also just confused as well as what I'm doing here. So, okay, so we have all kinds of choices here. At the end of the day, the main thing we want to play in this hand is a side-by-side that at least heals 1 damage for us, or gets us 3 thwarting. So I know I want to get an ally down and a side-by-side. I want to do some thwarting. I want to also get rid of Ebony Maw. So there's a lot of different things to do here. If we had, our attack card, our Magic Blast, like that one might be a time where I actually would play that, but let's see what we can do here. Okay, so I think I'm only going to be getting 1 side-by-side off, even if I do it. So I can use side-by-side, Astral Projection, and Eye of Agamotto to then play White Tiger. That's going to come into play. When that happens, he's only in stage 1, but we end up drawing 1 card, which is going to be a Mystical Studies. So let's think what we would want to play. I think a Black Panther and a Mystical Studies. Could play her side by side. Yeah, I don't think we're getting another ally down. It could be Kalu, but that wouldn't be terrible, I suppose. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's think about this. I'm trying to think because we have Threat and Ebony Maw that we want to deal with. Yeah. 3, 4. Trying to figure it out for myself here. So I think while we're at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Trying to think how we get rid of Ebony Maw, and then allow us to do some thwarting. So let's see, what can we do here? We have White Tiger on the table, and what I'm also trying to think further is maybe Kalu getting down does work for us. Black Panther Mystical Studies plays Kalu. Yeah, so we're looking at some options here. Okay, I'm going to get more kind of firepower down on the table and see what we can do. Mystical Studies and Black Panther are going to go ahead and play Kalu as well, because he's going to go find us an event, which is a big maybe, but let's see. Ooh, we do... There's a ton of resources hiding there, but we do find our Magic Blast, which brings up an interesting question for us. So let's see here. Kalu comes into play. Now Magic Blast comes in. I think maybe instead we just deal with it this way. We can deal with the issues, because our main issues now is that we want to get rid of this and we want to do some thwarting. If we were to play a Magic Blast, which potentially gets rid of Ebony Maw, including maybe an attack from Kalu, we can do some thwarting with White Tiger and Doctor Strange, which, like, these are all very good cards. But I think I'm going to do that because I want to kind of take care of the danger that's right in front of us. So, right, some other choices might be playing a Call for Backup, thwarting that out with these two. That could go get Beast, which then replaces Kalu. Beast plays a side-by-side. And then we're doing all that. And I still don't know if we're getting rid of Ebony Maw or dealing threat. So I think, that's a long way to go around doing things that we might not need to do. So let's do it this way. Let's play these 3 cards to do a Magic Blast. We're going to deal 5 damage to Ebony Maw, and then discard the top card of our deck, which has an electricity, that's energy, and it's going to deal 2 more damage to the enemy. Okay, so Ebony Maw is gone. That works out. So again, all kinds of decisions to be made in this game, but Ebony Maw's out. We can use White Tiger and Kalu to do 3 thwarting. That takes that down a bit. And then I can either get all of his toughs, or I can thwart for 2 more, and hang on to a side-by-side, but I think those toughs are going to be pretty important. So I'm going to use this side-by-side to play a 7 rings, which is then going to bring out images. To play that 7 rings, I would have had to exhaust. Yes, and so when we did that, we exhausted, played 7 rings. We're getting tough cards here. So tough, we get 2 more toughs here. We'll do White Tiger and Kalu. Or no, I think I'm going to want to use White Tiger's, whatever her activation is next turn. So I'll put it on, I don't know, hard to say. I'm going to use Kalu, White Tiger, and, Kalu, Wong, and myself will get the toughs. Either way. That is all we can do this turn. So that was messy, but we got to deal with some of the stuff we were working on. So I'm going to ready, unexhaust everyone, ready everyone up. Go over to Thanos here. We're adding 1 to the main. So that's 8 out of 12 there. So now he's going to be attacking. Kalu will block. He is attacking for 1, 2, what's he doing? 2, 3. Discard an ally or support I control. I think what we can do, okay, so, man, we have all kinds of stuff going on here. A lot of boost effects. So he's attacking Kalu, so we don't want to discard Kalu. So we can get rid of an ally or support, which I guess in this case can be the Sanctorum. We're going to have to get rid of something again, but that just might be the command team for us. So, and the next one, as this attack is coming in, we're going to add one of these encounter stones. So we're going to add 4 more onto that, but that just still comes in and pings off Kalu's tough. So that is that. And then now the reality stone is going to pop, and we have to discard something we control, ally support upgrade, and yeah, you know what? That might as well just be Kalu. We'll discard Kalu. Yeah, that works out well. So we're going to do it this way here. And now he gets his encounter card. We're going to see what we deal with. We get a tribute. It says when defeated, we have to deal player who defeated this an encounter card. That's not too bad. So 2 is going to go onto here. And let's think. We have some work to do. I still did not draw my hand, which is really unfortunate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I gotta stop doing that. I need a little bell reminder or something to tell me to draw my hand. Love what I'm seeing here, though. We got Beast and all kinds of cool stuff. So let's see. What do we do here? Comes over to us. I think we want to deal some, remove some threat, which honestly with images, with images of the econ, it No, it doesn't go around around this icon. I take that back. I was thinking it could go around this, but it definitely, I really don't think it does. So we're gonna use White Tiger to go ahead and just get rid of the side scheme here. And those will come over here when defeated, and now we deal a face down encounter card. Okay, tribute's gone. Typically I never really use images, but I think I am going to end up using that to get this threat down. But let's see, what can we focus on here? We can do a few things here. I'm going to use a double and a power of leadership to play Beast, and then when he comes in, I'm deciding here, I might as well just grab the power of, because we're either going to be playing a summoning spell or command team. And what else would we have? I mean, command teams are cool, but I think we could still play it with the Eye of Agamotto in this, so I'm going to use a power of leadership to play a summoning spell. And the reason I want to do that, right, is because it's using all the resources we have in a really efficient way. So we're going to discard until we get an ally. Wow, it's going to be Maria Hill. When she enters play, we draw a card into another command team. So we're going to have the Eye and Superpower Training come down and play another command team, which will come in with 3 counters on it. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll give that an exhaust. So now we have a lot of options here. I think we're not going to necessarily need the other command team. I'm trying to think, because I would like to play images to use on the Infinity Stones. Nah, you know what? Maria can go ahead. Let's think about this. Because Maria can go ahead and thwart for 2. So we're already down to 6 out of 12. I think instead of images, we might, let's roll our luck and see if we can get a Winds of Watum. So we're going to use Wong to keep moving here. And at the end of the day, right, we can thwart with Doctor Strange at some point. So we'll see. Everything is mixed up here, and instead we get a 7 rings, which is nice, but we don't really need right now. Let's think. Wong has a tough. I kind of want to dig for that Wins right now. But do we really need to? Let's think, because Beast, we could just all do some thwarting and then try to rip off some cool stuff next turn. Yeah, let's do that. I can thwart for 2, ready, and then thwart for 2 more. And that brings us down to 2. And then while that's at 2, we can just let Beast go in and attack for 2. So we pretty much now have this game under control. And like what I'm seeing, next turn I kind of want to play these 7 rings. Like take a hit, play the 7 rings, and then see what we can get with command team. And my other thought is maybe we draw into like our mystical, whatever card that allows us to play without discarding from here, and we can maybe like double up on the Winds of Watum. So we might as well do that. I think that's everything we can do. We're gonna ready everyone. Beast would have taken a damage. Okay, so we're gonna draw up to our hand size now of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we didn't get the card we wanted, but that's okay. We can end up, I just want to flip him and start doing some damage, honestly. So goes over to Thanos here. 1's going to go on the main. He is going to attack us, and I'll just take it because we have our tough. This is an encounter card. So he's attacked for 2, 3, 4, and that just comes in, pings off our tough, which which is fine. And then we're going to put the next card into play, which would end up being a Power Stone. And now he's going to give us our encounter cards. So our first one here is going to be attached to Thanos. It's his armor. When Thanos would take any amount of damage, reduce that amount by 1. Then after I make a basic attack, I can spend some resources to discard that. And then, I'm going to get my physical toll. I should be ready right now. So I have to flip to Alter Ego and then Exhaust to get rid of this from the game. And that is that. So it comes back over to us. No Alter Ego stuff to be doing. So we will... I could decide to flip through 7 rings, which I might do right now. The Tufts are really nice, but I kind of just want to skip through it and hope to get some bigger stuff here. So this is a hard choice right here, right? Because it's like the 7 rings keeps us alive for much longer, and I do have a ready to go ahead and use that. Unfortunately, I don't have a side-by-side. We're still working on this, so let's see what we can do. I'm trying to think. We only have 1 ready, but we don't know what's under here, and I think it'd be better just to get the Tufts down. So we're going to continue playing it safe. I'll ready up. Yeah, I'll use the eye here to... I'm trying to think here. Yeah, I'll use the eye to play 7 rings. And actually, continue just using these before we do that, sorry, we don't want to do that just yet. Because we want at least Beast to activate. So he can go ahead. When Thanos would take, it would be reduced by 1. That's unfortunate. He has 7 damage, which is perfect for the Bands of Sidorak. I'm going to thwart 2 with Beast, so he can take his damage. And then with Maria, we can now do the Tufts. Eye of Agamotto was spent. 7 rings goes. Our next card's going to be Winds of Watum. So we're looking for next turn to be a big turn. So Winds goes off. We put in our Tufts. Tough, and tough. What can we do in our hand here? This would be any time he would take any amount of damage. So Squirrel Girl couldn't even ping him here. I kind of forgot we have all these, all of our cards. We might as well get down our other command team using the power of leadership. So now we have all 3 of our command teams, which is huge. So that's just going to let us pretty much do whatever we want with the invocation deck here. And 1, 2, and 3, just finding the tokens for this. And so all of that's hanging around. Playing Squirrel Girl doesn't do anything for us. Honestly, we might as well just play a Magic Blast at this point, because he'll take some damage at least. But that's really all we can do, right? Like, there's not much more. We don't want to skip through Winds of Watum. So yeah, let's just do our Magic Blast. And we'll deal 5 damage to an enemy and discard the top card of our deck. And it's going to be a mental resource. Oh man, we ended up getting rid of a Masters of Mystic Arts. That would have... that hurts a lot. The mental resource, what does that do? That would have confused him, but has Stalwart. So he instead is going to take 4 damage, down to 3. And I guess Maria can hang around because we're not too worried about this one threat. And that was an unfortunate turn of events just because we lose our Mastic of the Mystic Arts, which would have been huge with Winds of Watum. But that's everything we can really do. Honestly, while we have it, we might as well just... I don't know, we could attack with Wong, but the 1 damage feel like I'm not too worried about. So let's think what we do. We're going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then everything should be readied here. Oh, I'm kind of crushed that I had to discard that card, but it is what it is. So we're going to go over to Thanos. One's going to go on. He goes to attack. We can block with, I guess, Maria here. Or, yeah, we'll block with Maria. He's attacking for 2, 3, with a boost card here, which is going to be if damage defeats an ally, put the top card. No, so that did not defeat an ally, so pings off her tough. And then the Power Stone's going to go off, which we are stunned. That is okay. All right, so now we get our encounter card, which is going to be attached to Thanos. So now he has, when he would activate, the top card comes in, which is fine. Okay, comes over to us. In our hand here, suit ups are not not a lot of really helpful things here, but we do have side by side, which is nice. So it's really unfortunate too, because I would like to make a basic attack, but I'm stunned. But we have so many side by sides that I think, or no, we only have one side by side. Let's think. So with our stuff here, let's do a suit up and a double to go ahead and play the Coin Carrier. So now we have 2 resource generators down. What can we do? I would like to attack to get rid of his armor, so I think I will. Since we have our side by side, I'm going to attack to get rid of our stunned. Ready. Now I am going to make a basic attack, which would just do the 1 damage. So it does no damage, but after I make a basic attack against Thanos, I can spend 2 resources, 1 and 2, and then we'll discard his armor. Not mad about that. And now, let's think. So normally we couldn't play Winds of a Tomb because we're not readied. But we could play side by side, and since we know we're going to ready, I think I'm going to go ahead and actually just use Wong to this time. I might as well attack for 2. So now he's down to 1 health. 1. And then loses that, and then we can use 2 resources here to play our side by side, our double. That's going to allow us to ready our sidekick, ready our hero, and then we get to choose one, either heal 1 damage or they each get +1/+1 to everything. Just deciding if I want to heal a little bit, but I don't think I'm too worried about that. Yeah, we'll give both of them like +$1 stats instead. So, and that way, I mean, I don't know if I could choose the other one since Wong is at full health, but we'll see. So now what we can do is thwart. We're going to exhaust to use Winds of a Tomb. That's going to draw us 3 cards, 1, 2, and 3. And not a lot that we can do. We'll play our Spiritual Meditation, hoping we can get something else here. Cards are about to run out. We get this. Let's see, we don't need the Astral Projection, so we'll use our other Spiritual Meditation, which is crazy here. 1, 2 more cards. Ooh, we get a Mask of Mystic Arts, so we will bring all these in and get rid of a suit up. Okay, so now we can start doing some things here. Okay, trying to figure out what the best choices are here, because I can play a Master of Mystic Arts and a Crimson Bands. I think to do that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to want to attack for 2 with Wong, which is going to give us a damage, but that brings Thanos down to 0. So his first form is taken over here. He comes back with Stalwart and Toughness and 23 health. So he comes in with Toughness, and then when that's revealed, we go and get his helmet, which I don't think we've seen yet. Oh, yep, it was on the bottom here. So now he has his helmet as well. We're going to shuffle these all up. And so what can we end up doing here? That's about to run out. So now he has Retaliate 1. And we have to make a basic attack to get rid of that, but I want to get rid of his Tough. Which I think... in order to get rid of his Tough, I'm just going to straight up attack, and you do that with Maria Hill. So I'm going to use one of these to ready Maria Hill, and then if she attacks, she pings off his Tough, and then she's going to end up either taking Retaliate or dying from her whatever it's called anyway, and then that gets her back into the shuffle. Or I don't know why I can't think of the ally damage right now, the name for it. Okay, so now he has Retaliate. Oh, but Crimson Bands is not an attack. What an insane thing. So this time around, so we're going to play our Master of the Mist. I'm trying to think of the different things here. So we can do two things here. We can play Kid Omega onto the table and have an extra ally down, and then hang on to Master of the Mystic Arts for next turn. Or we can just say, forget about it, go ahead and use it now, and then that loses our Tough. So these are the choices we can make. Oh, and again, we're not losing our Tough. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna, we don't, oh, yeah, if we use Master of Mystic Arts now, there's a chance we get it back in the shuffle. So let's do that. Let's use Master of the Mystic Arts. That's gonna allow us to pay for Crimson Bands with Triskelion and Protective Ward, and then resolve the special ability, and it's gonna stay on the top here. So we're gonna just straight up deal 7 damage. So he goes down to, 20 down to 16 health here. Right, 16, yeah. So 23 down to 16 does his 7 damage, and we hang on to Crimson Bands here. So I'm feeling quite good about just finishing him off this upcoming turn. So we are going to go ahead and, yeah, allow all that to happen. So I'm going to ready everything up. Because right now he still has his Retaliate, which is tough, but we'll see what we do with that Retaliate here. Crimson Bands is not an attack, so that's just so huge for us. After hero makes, yeah, he gains Retaliate. Okay, cool. So I feel good. I think should be able to just take him out next turn if we play our cards correctly. So we're gonna draw to get build support. We will shuffle. We're gonna get an encounter card. So, okay. We shuffle up here. We have 1, build support, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so not exactly what I wanted, but these suit ups are great at the beginning if you're trying to get Wong, but besides that, pretty difficult to have them in the deck. So goes over to Thanos here. One's going to go on the main scheme. He is going to attack, and we're just going to let this come in because we'll lose our tough, but I think being able to attack and keep this 2 damage with Beast next turn might help us out quite a bit. Because then we can attack twice with him. Yeah, we'll try to do it that way. So he's going to attack us. He's attacking for 3, 4, 5, 6. And then that comes in, pings off our tough, exposes our few health that we have left here, and then something happens. So when he activates, so when he activated, he would have put in the Space Stone. Okay, this actually works out very well for us. So now the Space Stone is going to go off. At the end of this activation, discard Master of Stones. At the end of this activation. Yeah. Okay, so that comes in, the activation ends, and then now afterwards, now the Space Stone will go off. So we're going to discard cards until a minion comes out, but there are no minions, so that just fizzles out on us. Sweet. So then now we get an acceleration token. This is going to be shuffled. And let's see, so that works out. Now we get our 2 encounter cards. So our first one is going to be an advance. So he's going to go ahead and scheme for 2, 3, discarding the top card of the. So he's for 3 plus 2, so 5. So he is up to 8 out of 12 on there. And then we get our second encounter card, Corvus Glaive. He has Retaliate 1 and Toughness, but he does not have Guard, so I think we're just going to be ignoring him. So all we have to do here is deal 16 damage. I say that, but we'll see. Let's think what we can do. Side by side. I could attack for 1 and get rid of the Retaliate, so we don't really have to worry about it. We take 1 damage. That's not bad. We ready. Use Crimson Bands. Side by side. Okay. Yeah, so what's running through my head here is, the Retaliate, and if I want to deal with that, I don't really want to do that. So I think I am just going to straight up attack for 1, which will bring him down to 15. He does retaliate against us. Whoops, I'm putting damage on myself. So we go down to a lower health, but I think we'll be okay here because we're going to spend our 2 resources to just straight up get rid of the Retaliate. I don't know if that's going to be the most ideal thing in the world, but I don't know how much I want to continue mathing that out. So we're going to use Spiritual Meditation to see what we can get. Ooh, we get Kid Omega, Maria Hill. I think I saw Suit Up. We're definitely not using Suit Up in here. So, all right, what can we do here? I can ready using Cloak of Levitation, and then I can use the Crimson Bands. So I would love to do that. He doesn't have Retaliate anymore. We'll use a Superpower Training and a Build Support. Both of these to go ahead and pay for the Crimson Bands, which we're going to exhaust to use. And that brings out the Vapors. So let's see. So that brings him down from 15 down to 8 health. We did 7 more damage, 8 health. I think, I could consider, in my head I was considering if I want to use Wong's ability until we get another Crimson Bands, but we really don't need to do that because what we can just do is straight up start attacking him. So with Wong, we're going to attack for 2, bring him down to 6. We can just keep readying up Wong all day here. He's going to take a damage from that, but I think instead here, I'll use, Maria Hill or Kid Omega and a summoning spell to use side by side. That's going to ready our sidekick, ready me, and then each of us will get +1, +1, +1 for the remainder of the turn. So I get +1 attack, +1 thwart. We have, with that, I can just attack for 3 with Wong. He has 5 health because he's our sidekick. So Wong attacks for 3, down to 3. We can attack for 2, down to 1, and then Beast can swing in and take out the final health here, and that is Thanos. So thank you for joining along there. I know there's a lot of stuff going on, so I don't know as far as like decision making how much I was able to explain things as compared to just playing, but it's something we're working on here. So thank you for joining along for this playthrough. If there's any way I can improve, just let me know. That'd be awesome. And continue commenting, subscribing, doing all that stuff below. It really helps. And again, thank you for joining along. We'll see you next time.